Wow, watch as the baby slime takes its first bounds out of the nest and begins to explore the outer world. I built a slime farm in hardcore Minecraft for infinite slime, and it took forever. So if you do enjoy this video, please subscribe. Anyway, enjoy the video. So this video is all about making a slime farm. And first thing we have to do is find our slime chunks. Now earlier on, I went and marked out 2 chunks, which I believe are slime chunks. Using a thing called a slime chunk finder, I put in my world seed and started looking around when I discovered 2 chunks next to each other, which was close to my spawn. And then I thought this would be perfect for a double slime farm side by side, and it could be really efficient. But to start off with, I just want to check that these things actually are slime chunks. So what I'm gonna do is dig straight down, and we're just gonna check it out and see if we can get some slimes to spawn. Oh, and that is a cave. This is interesting. No, no, ow. The fact that I had dug into some caves was both good and bad news. In order to make today's farm as efficient as possible, I would have to light up as many caves in the surrounding area so the only mobs that will be able to spawn will be slime. But the bad news is, it was going to take me a long time to cover all this area. So now that I've dug all the way down here, what I'm gonna do is just dig out a bit of a room. More cave. Okay. All right, now all I have to do is make sure these areas are lit up well enough, because slimes actually will spawn where it is lit up as opposed to other mobs. All right, now I guess we just wait around and see if anything happens. And by wait around, I of course meant get distracted and go light up caves for the next hour and a half. Okay, sounds like there is some mobs around in this direction. I hear you. Where are you? There you are. Okay, I've maybe got a little too invested in completely spawn-proofing everything. But, I mean, let's just hope that these 2 slime chunks are slime chunks. So at this point, I had spent 45 minutes just lighting up caves. Surely if I head back to my 2 slime chunks now, some slimes will have to spawn, right? All that and still no slime. And so began another 45 minutes of running around lighting up caves in the surrounding area, and even more time digging out more of my 2 chunks. And from there, it was just a waiting game trying to confirm if these 2 chunks could actually spawn slimes. Bingo, baby. Oh, there we are. Finally, these things are spawning. After reading the wiki for like 15 minutes and questioning why it wasn't working, I have finally confirmed that at least this chunk is a slime chunk. Okay, well, now that we've done all of that work, what we can do now is head off and get all the materials we need to turn these 2 chunks into an amazing slime farm. All right, time to collect all the resources we need for today's build. First up, we've got a few redstone pieces. We're gonna need a few hoppers, a few rails and powered rails. I don't know exactly how many of these things I need, but I need a minecart, hopper, and maybe just a few extra hoppers as well. And other than that, what I actually do need, which is a little tricky, is a bunch of pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns. And I do not have a pumpkin farm in this world yet. So hey, let's just go ahead and head out here where we have all of our random farms. And I guess let's set up a bit of a pumpkin farm. I must say, it feels almost illegal to be farming pumpkins in this world. This is a strictly melon-only world until now. Oh. That was a quick pumpkin. All right, so what we need to do is shear the pumpkin. I mean, we need them to be carved because these are going to be turned mostly into jack-o'-lanterns, but also then we get the extra seeds out of the pumpkin. Oh, and that's another. Ooh. Double pumpkin. All right, so far I've managed to grow these 7 rows of pumpkins, and it's picking up. I'm starting to get pumpkins pretty fast now. But with an end goal of roughly 250 jack-o'-lanterns, I would clearly have to expand unless I wanted to be here all day. So now I have fully upgraded my little pumpkin farm here with a second story, and it's just a matter of time really before we have enough for today's build. All right, now after that little quick harvest there, we now have like 150, 160-ish carved pumpkins. All right, here we go. Final harvest. Let's get this over and done with. All right, that should just about be enough. So now all I got to do is turn all these suckers into jack-o'-lanterns. And now all that's really left for us to collect is a bunch of building blocks. Oh, and magma blocks as well. They're definitely going to come in handy. Since this is a slime farm, I decided to grab a bunch of lime green concrete to decorate the farm. And following this, it meant I finally had enough materials to start building our slime farm. It feels like I've spent literally forever just prepping to do this build. So I'm so excited that I can finally start building. I say building, but majority of this project is just going to be digging a massive hole underground. But my first step here is actually to build a beacon. And this is going to come so in handy because, as I said, we've got a ton of digging to do. So let's set it up with haste 2. All right, so once again, these 2 chunks here are our slime chunks. And the first step here is we need to dig down to Y11. Hang on a second. Why is my beacon not working? All right, looks like we're going to have to reset this beacon. So after finally getting my beacon to work with my haste 2, it was time to get digging. All right, and now that we've dug down to Y11, what we need to do is find the middle 8 blocks, and 1 space lower, we need to dig all the way through the middle. And now in this little channel here, this is where I'm going to have to start building a bit of a collection area. So at the moment, I'm kind of like freestyling because for your typical slime farm, you only use 1 chunk. But since I'm using 2, I'm going to have kind of 2 collection areas. Confusing railway tracks aside, the idea is that these minecart hoppers will perform a loop underground beneath where the slimes will die, collecting and depositing all slime balls into some chests. I did this very poorly though, and I ended up having to change it all later on. It appears that works out just fine. And our next step here is to just start putting blocks above this track. And now, as one of the final steps for this very bottom layer, I need to extend the walls on the 2 sides out another 4 blocks. All right, now our bottom floor is pretty much finished. In fact, I might just finish it off so we can just focus on everything above it. Now we should be able to just cover this whole thing up and pretty much forget about it. So that's the bottom floor of our slime farm done. This will be the collection area and the killing area. And now everything above us now will be the spawning platforms, as many as we can fit in before Y40. So starting here and only where our slime chunks are. So reminder, these end here. We're going to fill in these platforms with blocks, but my job is also to continue to dig out the area upwards. Let's grab a bit of scaffolding and let's start doing some more digging. And this is where the jack-o'-lanterns come in. Obviously, this farm is underground, so it's quite dark, but we only want slimes to be able to spawn on this platform. So jack-o'-lanterns are a good block because 1, they emit light, but also they are still able to be spawned on by slime. There's some light blocks that slimes can't spawn on. For example, sea lanterns, which are a prettier block. I don't believe they can be spawned on by slime for some reason. So that's why you got to use jack-o'-lanterns. All right, perfect. And that is pretty much one of our platforms done. We just have to mimic this above again and again, but there's still a bit of extra work that needs to be put in. And I mean, for example, I still want this area to look good. I don't know why, but I do. Okay, this slime farm is working too good almost. Uh-oh. All right, this gives you an idea of how this farm works, because these guys will die here. Eventually, these slime balls should get collected. Yep, there we go. Minecart scooped all those up. All right, next thing here, I'm gonna put a little hole in the wall back here, and in this little hole in the wall over here, I'm actually going to put an iron golem. And the purpose of this iron golem here is to drag slime's attention from these platforms off the edge, because for some reason slimes really do not like iron golems. All right, and another spot where I'm gonna need to put my iron golems is underneath here. And that way slimes will also be drawn down towards the, the killing area once they're down at this bottom floor. For every layer of this farm, I would need to put 4 of these iron golems, which is a lot. And now that I had officially finished 1 layer of this slime farm, all I'd have to do is repeat this another 6 times until our slime farm is done. It started by digging out as much space as I possibly could. I mean, this doesn't have to be said, but this is definitely a much longer process, having to do 2 chunks instead of just 1. 30 minutes of nothing but digging later, and things were going mostly great. All right, well, I've got good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is I've just dug out so much more of this area for us to work with, which is great. But both my pickaxes are almost dead, so we're gonna have to go repair those. And also, for some reason, this iron golem area burnt down. So now, with a set of fresh tools and a bunch more space to play with, it was time to build up this farm with some more spawning platforms. But as well as platforms, I of course also had to add all the iron golems along the way. And after a long grind, it was finally paying off. So far we have completed 5 full spawning layers of this farm. The issue is now, I think I need to add another 2, and that means we've got more digging to do, which is a little annoying. And so the grind for the final 2 spawning platforms begun. And no different to the previous ones, it all started with digging out all the space I would need. And then of course I could follow it up by building the 2 spawning platforms, and I can't forget to add the iron golems as well, of course. And just like that, the farm was technically finished. But of course, I couldn't make it that easy. All I have left now is just cosmetic changes. I don't have to do it, but I think it'll be cool to make this whole thing look nice. So before I go off and collect a whole bunch more blocks, I thought I would make this thing actually fully functional. So we're gonna add in the water. Go away. Go over there. Yes, that's it. Nope. Down there. Stay. Everything is fully functional now. The water will help assist the slimes move towards these iron golems, where when I'm not here, they will actually be distracted by these guys, as you can see. And now for the rest of this build, I just want to line the walls with a bunch more jungle wood and lime concrete. So I went away to collect a bunch more decorative blocks, since the ones I started with didn't get me far. Step 1, we collect a bunch of jungle wood. Step 2, we get some more green dye. Step 3, we need to make it all into concrete powder. And step 4, now I need to convert it all into concrete. All right, I got all the blocks I'm ever gonna need now. Let's hit it off first with some of this jungle wood. And actually what I'm gonna do is fill in all the space between these platforms. I'm gonna just fill in with jungle wood. Now that that is all done, what I can go ahead and do is fill in the rest of the walls with the lime concrete. Finally, this entire room is done. And you may see I've created a window here, which I think I'm potentially going to work into having an AFK room where you can see into the farm with this. But now I can get rid of the scaffolding here. And finally, the slime farm is complete. But the decorating doesn't end there, because I still had a lot of work to do on the collection area outside of the farm. Now, if we dig all the way this way, we should be able to dig across to where that window was. Or am I too low? Oh, I'm too low still. So now I've got this giant tall room here, which you can get a good view of the farm. I don't know if it's a good distance to AFK from, but regardless, it's kind of cool. And then it makes all the work I put in to make the farm actually look good with all the blocks. Made that all worthwhile, because you can actually see in now. And this just leaves me with the job of making this all look nice. just when I thought I was completely finished with this slime farm, I had a stupid realization. For the longest time, I've been wondering why this thing sometimes works good and sometimes doesn't, but it's actually so obvious and I can't believe I only just realized. I've done my best to run around all the surrounding caves and light them up so that mobs can only really spawn here. But there's one spot I have forgotten to light up, and that's the surface. Look how many mobs there are up here. And so as the final step of this farm, I had to light up the surface. I made as many torches as I could and spent well over an hour running around placing torches everywhere around my slime chunks, so it could be as efficient as possible even during the nighttime. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. Oh, whoa, what is this? Okay, I think our methods are working because there should never be this many mobs in one spot. What is this mob spawner? Okay, never mind. The mob spawner's gone. What a journey that was. What? Wait, got apple. And so everything was now lit up, but the question still remained. How good is this slime farm I've spent all this time making? And is it worth it? So let's put it to the test. I went AFK for exactly 1 hour in my slime farm, and in that time, it managed to produce... All right, it has been exactly 1 hour. Let's have a look. Oh, wow, that is a lot more than I thought it would be. Okay, roughly 3,200 slime balls every hour. Look, this farm took me like 10 hours to build and the video took even longer to edit, so please subscribe. Cheers. Oh hey, if you haven't already, go follow me on my Instagram and Twitter for additional WadZee content. And speaking of additional content, I've also been posting quite often on my second channel as well, so go check it out. All links are in the description.